A funny old lion who had the misfortune to lose his mane was wearing a wig as he was taking a stroll on a very windy day. Looking up, he spied one of the charming tiger sisters across the street, and wishing to make an impression, smiled blandly and made a beautiful bow. At that moment, a very strong gust of wind, a very smart gust of wind came up, and the consequence was that his wig flew off and left him there feeling foolish and looking worse, with his bald head glistening like a billiard ball. Though somewhat embarrassed at first, he smiled at the lady and said, "Is it a wonder that another fellow's hair shouldn't keep on my head, when my own wouldn't stay there?" And so the moral of the story is wit always has an answer ready. That's what they said. Okay, so now I'm going to hand out a copy of the story. It's called The Lost Wig. We're going to look at this again. We're going to reread it. And I'm going to have you mark the text. You code the text. Thank you. I'm going to give you markers also. You know what? Can you hand out the rest of them? Okay, pick a marker that you want to use. Doesn't matter what color. What I'd like you to do with your markers, first thing is you're going to number the lines in the story. Instead of numbering paragraphs, since there's not any paragraphs to number the lines in the story. This is a fable. This is an Aesop fable. So Taylor's going to hand out the text, and this is going to show you, after you're done numbering the lines in the story, then we're going to talk about what code to put for certain parts. So we're going to listen to the story again. So everyone has a marker? Okay, and everyone is getting a code the text paper. I'm walking around. I'm seeing that everyone is numbering the lines on the story. Okay, you're numbering the... Okay, you did it in yellow. Okay, good. Right. You also got... Okay. Okay, so... Thank you, Kim. Okay, now I'm going to read it a second time, and as I'm reading it, I'd like you to look at your story in front of you and use the code the text guidelines that are in front of you. So for the funny, do you see what you're supposed to write for the funny part, the surprising part, an important part, your favorite part, a confusing part that you might not understand, and then something that you might wonder about, okay? A funny old lion who had the misfortune to lose his mane was wearing a wig as he was taking a stroll on a very windy day. Looking up, he spied one of the charming tiger sisters across the street. And wishing to make an impression, he smiled blandly and made a beautiful low bow. At that moment, a very smart gust of wind came up, and the consequence was that his wig flew off and left him there, feeling foolish and looking worse, with his bald head glistening like a billiard ball. Though somewhat embarrassed, at first he smiled at the lady and said, "Is it a wonder that another fellow's hair shouldn't keep on my head when my own wouldn't stay there?" And then it says the moral is, wit always has an answer. Okay. I'll let you mark your text. Give you a couple minutes. I'll give you a minute to do that. All right, is everyone pretty much done with that? Yeah. Okay, raise your hand if you need a couple seconds. All right. Okay, now I'd like you to pay attention to some of those words in the story that you might be not too familiar with. There's some vocabulary, and also you might find some other words in there that aren't familiar, or figurative language. Now, that's when you're comparing, when the author uses things that make a story more exciting or vivid to a reader so that it's more interesting. So let's look at some of the words that you'll find in the story. Let's see. The first one that I'd like you to maybe underline with your marker, the word wit. Draw your attention to the word wit. So that's a word that we're going to talk about and look at. The word blandly. So find the word blandly in the story and mark it. Wit and blandly. Can you find the word wit? Okay. Can I put a square on our Another group of words, or words, smart gust. So find the word smart gust, the word smart gust. You can box it, or you can underline it, you can circle it. And consequence. Now, glistening like a billiard ball, would that be figurative language? Is that figurative language? And what are you doing with that? How is that? What is that?
You're describing something.
You're just comparing,
yeah.
Right? You're comparing something, and you're using the word what? Like. When you use like or as, simile, right? So that's a figurative language. And then we have misfortune and spy. So if you look at these words, we kind of look at like if it has a prefix, if it has a suffix, we think about where we see those words in sentences, so that might help us know what the word means. So that kind of helps us get familiar with some of these vocabulary words. Now what I'd like you to do is you're going to work with a partner. And I'm going to give you a bag. The blue cards are going to have the vocabulary or the vocabulary or the figurative language cards that are actually in the story on them. The red cards are going to be words or phrases that mean almost the same thing. What I'd like you to do with your partner is I'd like you guys to come up with matching the vocabulary words that are actually in the story to the vocabulary words that mean almost the same thing. So you're going to do that, and then you're going to rewrite the story, filling in the words that mean almost the same thing. Okay, so you... If there's more room on the floor for you to match, if it's easier to do it on the floor next to your desks, that's fine. Like right by your desk.
It has to be. Spy would go
So I'm looking at a lot of people with some good ideas about how to do this. You want to, the one thing that you would like to do is to have the cards all lined out in front of you so you can see them, because if you're holding the cards and you're not looking at them, you guys look at all of them to match. You want to match red card.
Yeah, they also do. Yeah, there should be no list. Okay, let me find it. Right here. Right here. Yeah, it's great. It says white always has a and let's see if you we did it. My second favorite color. That is incorrect. That is incorrect.
Can you read them to me? Which pairs go together?
Okay, consequence resort. Larry is playing with. Smart Gus is a quick blast. Misfortune, bad luck. Wit, humor, object. Spy, notice. Sitting like a chandelier ball, shining like a star.
Good job.
Humor for Christmas is My passport. Oh, we're finished. Yeah, we're finished.
So you need one marker and you're going to fill in the closed task here with the new vocabulary word that means almost the same thing as the vocabulary. So you're going to use the red cards. Because remember, the red cards are the ones that mean almost the same thing as what the story actually means. And what you might want to do is take one of your stories, get one story so that you know, you can see which word is actually the story and which one is something that happens after something
Who goes first? No.
Didn't even stay on his head. So was he upset or was he? So when you're on leave, something is bland, something tastes bland.
I know, I want my
Doesn't have much taste.
Okay. So, and then don't forget
Okay, 2 more minutes and then we're going to come back.
we're done.
Okay, put them in the bag. Okay, sit down, clean up the cards. I'll be collecting the papers.
No, we need one of the Oh, I Wait, no, it's on your desk.